This is where how they first started doing this. Is I'm doing the ones with the Indians. I'm actually am a little bit Indian. I don't look it, but my grandmother's still around. She's 50% Indian. She just had her 96th birthday. So I don't know if that makes me qualified or not, but here we go. So you just take an axe or something is what the Indians did. They would make a little rent in a tree, and then they would take they call this a spy, I think. And this is not an actual example of that, but that is what this is. But a variation of this, they would stick that in a tree, allowing the sap to run, give it a path to run away from the tree into a birch bucket or bag, or in this case, a bucket that looks like this. It's a woven bucket. It's made out of birch bark. This is in pretty rough shape. But the truth is, I saw a PBS show just yesterday where they actually used this exact bucket. So this is a style of bucket. This is an actual representation of what a real bucket looks like. And they were boiling water in it, so they do hold water. And so the sap would run off the spy into a bucket or some container. And then they would hang this or transport it to a leather pouch or something and hang it over a fire. Now, while it was hanging over the fire, it wouldn't be so close that the flames would be touching it, but it would be close enough that you can see the steam coming off the top, and that's reducing it, concentrating the sap. And as it becomes more concentrated, the sap gets to a point where I think it needs a little bit more heat to really release what is it's water. And what they would do is they would pour it into a vessel like this, and this is just a log that's been hollowed out, in here, and this would be what they would do to get rid of the more moisture. And the way they did it is they would take stones like this, and there would be oftentimes a little fire right next to the log because you'd want it pretty close, and they would let the fire heat the stones up, and then they would take these tools, and because again the stones would be too hot to want to handle with your own hands, and they would pick that up with these and then transport it over to the log and drop that down into the sap, and that would cause it to boil. Now, in yesterday's program they showed that, and it really does work.
It's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, it showed the water bubbling up this high off the surface because they really retain a lot of heat. So as the sap becomes more concentrated, it gets close to being transformed to sugar, and then they would take and use shells and things like that, and they would fill the shells with that and then allow them to cool and harden, and then that would now be in a form that would be transportable to wherever their villages or sites would be. And of course, if you think about it, what would be better, carrying around half a gallon of that or 42 gallons of sap, to have your sweetener, and that's kind of the way they did this.